G'day. Welcome to another Creaky Gamers Firefight Battle Report. Let's go.
Well, thanks for joining us, viewers, for battle number 5, I think. I'll have to work it out. And we've got normal 12-inch deployment zones. And the scenario is take and hold. So on a 4x4 map, there's 6 objectives. Looking at it from the Forge Father's perspective, they're worth more as you go across the table. So 1, 2, and 4. So if you get the ones in the enemy deployment zone, they're worth more points. So it encourages you to get across the table. Sometimes a bit difficult with lots of laser fire going across the table. So it's the Forge Fathers with their first battle versus the Enforcers. So let's start off with the recon roll and we'll see how it goes.
Alright, before you start shooting, it's the recon roll.
Recon I've got 3. One. That's just horrible. Alright, so...
Okay, so the Forge Fathers win the recon roll and the Enforcers are just doing their scout move. So this will be a shorter battle report as the sound quality was diminished by the wall rattling air conditioner. It was a freezing cold night this night, so the sound quality goes up and down. So I'll just give you the highlights and try and make a short form battle report out of what we've got. Okay.
Alright, you maggots. Army overview. Get in line.
Right, well, I'll start with the Forge Fathers. So there's a unit of 6 Steel Warriors, no special weapons or anything. And there's a Steel Warrior Huskarl behind them, giving them some support. And then there's a Brander assault vehicle with 5 Thorgrim inside there. So it's got a big flamer on it and a big ram on the front. Then over here there is a Forge Lord with 2 Forge Guard. And then there's a unit of 10 Brocker, which are the post-combat guys. There's a weapons platform in the woods here. And then there's, off the table is 6 Hammerfist drop troops. Off the table there, ready to come on later on. All right, you guys, you got you scouted up here. The bikes are up here.
Yep.
We know the bikes are
3
there.
bikes for the missile launcher.
Yep.
In here is a Count Sass sniper team.
Okay. Yep.
Behind here is 6 enforcers with a burst laser. I've got a peacekeeper captain with 2 peacekeepers. I've also got a Count Sass engineering team with an engineer and 2 enforcers with incinerators.
Yeah.
Here are 2 units of 5 breach and eradicator enforcers, just using assault enforcers at the moment.
Yep.
And behind, I should just move him up there to keep him out of the way. This is a peacekeeper enforcer sergeant, I should say. There with 1 guy. And behind here is other 6 enforcers. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, done.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So, and you've done your scout move, and so we should do our command run.
Creaky Gamers are go. Turn 1. Firefight. Let's go.
One.
Okay, so turn 1 highlight number 1. Let's have a look. The bikes have scouted forward and we're a bit worried about the bikes coming around our right flank. So we've dropped in the Hammerfist drop troops with their Inferno drills and they're going to take out 2 of the bikes. So with a command ability used, way to fire 2, they take out 2 of the bikes, so that'll slow the bikes down. And then a second activation, the Steel Warriors move up and ineffectual shooting at those snipers in the building because of their stealth and small unit and so on. Then in response, the enforcers have moved up. I think they used a go, go, go or something and moved everybody forward. A rapid advance, I think it is. And then the Peacekeeper captain puts up his aura of Resilient 2. So the enforcers are very strong in that area around the trees there. Most of their units are there. So the enforcer captain moves up. And so they've got a big bubble of Resilient 2 in that area. They're going to be very tough to remove. So that was the Enforcer's response. Okay, so then there goes the weapons platform. 6 shots into the breach and eradicate enforcers there that are going to try and sneak up on the assault vehicle. So the weapons platform pins them down, but they've got Resilient 3, actually. They've got Resilient from the command ability and a medic nearby. So we did 3 wounds, but have to reroll 2 of them, so we end up only doing 1 wound to them. So all that resilience makes the enforcers pretty tough. And in response, the enforcers activate their sniper. He has a pot shot at the weapons platform, and the guy with the rifle in the sniper team decides to have a shot at the Steel Warriors in the woods, but no effect. They both miss. So snipers seem like a big threat, but they need to hit. So next up, the new toy, the Brander Urban Assault Vehicle, moves up and has a shot at those same breach and eradicate enforcers. We're peppering them with weapons platforms and now the heavy flamer. And we managed, it's got 4 dice, AP2, so we get a few hits, but again that resilience kicks in, and I think we end up only doing 1 wound to them. So the assault vehicle is sitting there. I still have 5 little Thorgrim hiding inside. With the reroll, yeah, only one ends up wounding them. So the enforcers, in a surprising move, they decide to test out the armour on the assault vehicle. So they move those guys up, just basic enforcers, and they need 8s to wound. It is armour 9, I think, and defensible, so a natural roll of 8 will still do a wound to it. And I forgot about the heavy armour, but luckily after this shooting they don't do any damage. So the assault vehicle takes some fire, and then the little Steel Warrior Huskarl just moves up into the woods onto the objective. And then the enforcers, they move up on their left flank. They just move up to claim that objective as well. And so we're just making sure we're going to be scoring some points. They're out of range to any shooting. And so we're just getting on the objectives and so on. Okay, then the Forge Father's next activation, the Rocker, are going to sneak up on the left flank, hiding behind that tower. So if we be very quiet, they won't see them. So they've snuck up the left flank. Let's hope they can get into combat later. Okay, so having moved the Brocker up on the left flank, in response, the enforcers are going to activate the lone jet bike, and it's going to fire some shots at the Hammerfist drop troops and takes out 2 of them. So they're a bit of a glass cannon, the Hammerfist drop troops. They come in, do a bit of shooting, but they're only armour 6 and 1 wound each. The rest of the turn we're just shuffling around, getting onto the objective. The Forge Guard move up. They're not very effective, the Forge Guard. I mean, they're a very expensive unit and heavily armoured and so on, but their output isn't very big. The command ability isn't that great, puts everybody in cover. So the Forge Lord, I'm not really impressed with the Forge Lord with his Forge Guard companions, but he does bring a green command dice, which is very handy. And we're just shuffling around units, moving up through the woods, trying to get onto the objectives and get into better positions. And then I'm going to get the Thorgrim out of the assault vehicle. Here they are here, and they're going to charge in. So there's only 5 of them. The assault vehicle only has a capacity of 5. They go in. We're just checking that they are in range. They did make it in. I've got a proxy in there as the leader of them. And they kill 1 of those enforcers. And in turn, the enforcers kill 2 of them back. So that's a disaster. So these guys, they've only done 1 wound. They've lost the combat. And then that enables the enforcers to consolidate onto the objective. So it's been a big blunder. The Thorgrim assault out of the tank failed. And these guys are able to consolidate onto the objective. So a bit of a disaster there. So not much happens for the rest of turn 1. The failed assault. Things are set up nicely for turn 2. The lone jet bike failed his nerve test, so the bikes are gone. So the Hammerfist drop troops did do their job on the bikes. But the enforcers are leading 4-2 on the objectives. And we get plenty of command points, 9 or 10 each. So we're on to turn 2.
Whoa.
Turn 2.
Oh, I don't know. There's so many things to do.
So the Forge Fathers finished their activations first on turn 1, so they're going to be activating first here. And I just wanted to see what the assault vehicle would do in combat. I probably should have sat back and fired, as you'll see. I charged in. They got some defensive fire, controlled fire. They need 8s to wound, but I did forget the heavy armour, so they snuck a wound through onto the assault vehicle on the way in. My fault for not remembering heavy armour. Well, they might have got it through anyway, so they needed 8s to wound and then a 5+ again for heavy armour. So to summarise the assault, it didn't go so well. It has got 4 dice and AP2 or something like that. So I thought charge in, that might do something. So I did 1 wound, but they did a wound back. Again, I forgot heavy armour, so that might have helped. But they did 2 wounds to the tank, and then we only did 1. So the Brander urban assault vehicle was defeated in combat, and so it has to retreat 6 inches, becomes pinned and so on. And so that was a bit of a disaster as well. So things aren't going so great for the Forge Fathers at the moment. And then there's only 3 of the Thorgrim left that were in the assault vehicle. So they're sort of behind that tank, behind that storage tank there. So there are 3 Thorgrim left, a couple of proxy models in there. So they're going to charge in before it's too late. They've already used their defensive fire and so on. So they're going to use Tis But a Scratch. And they can hit hard, these little guys. I was surprised they didn't do too well when they charged out of the assault vehicle. But they do manage to do 4 wounds, take them out, and then they consolidate onto the objective. They may not last long there, but at least they did something. Okay, so the Enforcers now have their breach and eradicate Enforcers with their anti-tank weapons for in close combat. So they're going to use their anti-grav to jump over the obstacle there and attack the Brander urban assault vehicle. So these guys have got anti-tank close combat weapons. They hit on 5, so they're not that great, but they do get a bonus for charging because they're not hindered because of their anti-grav. So hitting on 4s with their anti-tank weapons, they're going to make short work of the assault vehicle. So I should have moved it well away from them, but I got rid of 1 unit, pinned the other one down, but these ones got through. So if you've got high AP weapons, then it's very handy, especially in assault and so on. And so that's the end of the urban assault vehicle. So they took that out. No dramas. Next up, they're going to go again, and they've got a unit of, I think they're engineers or something in this building, and so they're going to, from that building, use their flamethrowers on my Forge Lord with his Forge Guard bodyguard. So they're going to shoot out of the building there, so a couple of flamers, and try and get them to fail a nerve test and be activated because it burns, but they passed their nerve test and didn't take any casualties. So the response from the Enforcers is pretty good. They've taken out the tank, and they're pretty strong in this area. The Forge Lord passes his nerve test. So in response, the Forge Fathers switch to their right flank, and there's a stealthy small unit of snipers in that building. So they're sick of shooting at them and missing. The Steel Warriors were anyway, so the Hammerfist drop troopers decide to assault the building. They don't kill them all, but they do shift them. They have to retreat out of there by killing 1, winning the combat, and so they take the building. And then the Forge Fathers activate again, spend a command point, and they're going to use the weapons platform to shoot those other close combat unit, the breach and eradicate Enforcers, try and pin them down and do a couple of wounds, so there's only 1 left there. So the weapons platform's doing its job. Okay, so the Enforcers throw down a Firestorm command, Weight of Fire 2 and Vicious when shooting, and they're going to shoot at the Hammerfist drop troopers in the building. The building boosts their armour up to 7, but that doesn't help them much, and 3 of them go down. So they're a bit of a glass cannon, the Hammerfist drop troopers. So they've lost another 3 and a couple to the bikes. So now they're broken in the building. Okay, so then I think the Peacekeeper captain uses the go, go, go order, and they advance, and then they fire at the remaining Thorgrim that took the objective. Then they jump over the pipes, over the barricade there, and take out the 3 remaining Thorgrim. So they made short work of them, and in response they didn't do any damage back. And so they jump back over the barricade there to protect themselves. But then the Barocca captain, seizing the opportunity, he uses his scrap heap challenge order, which will give the Barocca that are hiding behind the big storage tank there, it'll give them a 15-inch charge. So the Barocca are going to exact some revenge upon the Peacekeeper captain. So they make a big charge, all 10 of them, and they make short work of the captain's bodyguard. So the captain retreats into the woods over there, and then a breach and destroy operative guy, the guy with the high AP, that close combat guy, does a suicide run over there to try and beat them up, but the Barocca beat him up as well. So the Barocca have done their charge, and they've taken that objective and forced the Peacekeeper captain back into the woods. And so one of the Barocca dies to that little guy assaulting across there, but they make short work of him, and so the Barocca are going to hold that objective. So well done, those guys. Okay, so getting towards the end of turn 2, the Forge Lord and his couple of Forge Guard bodyguard decide to assault the building there. You're always hindered when you assault a building, but they actually lose the combat. So I'm not really that fussed on my Forge Lord and his Forge Guard. They don't seem to have enough oomph. Then the Enforcers just move up, use go, go, go to move up, fire a pistol shot, and take out another one of the Barocca there, and then they move back onto the objective. And then I think one of the final moves is the Steel Warriors move up, and they decide, they've just done with their rifles, they decide to shoot at the lone sniper. He's a small target and stealthy. They get a couple of hits and they get a wound through, so that was pretty good. 3 wounds, I think, or 1 wound. But there's a medic nearby, so we have to re-roll it. And those Enforcers are hard to kill if they've got medics and resilience and so on. And then finally my Steel Warrior Huskarl moves up on the objective at the bottom. There's a nerve test for the last of the Hammerfist drop troopers. I like the Hammerfist drop troopers, being able to drop in and fire their inferno drills at things. So they did take out the bikes, but the last one fails his nerve test, and that's the end of him. So I think that's about it. The end of the turn, we've checked for broken units. We've done that, removed the activation markers, and then we're going to score the objectives. So at the moment, the Enforcers are holding their 2 home objectives, which are worth 1 each. And the Forge Fathers are holding their 2 home objectives and 1 in the middle worth 2 points. So that will even up the scores at 6 all.
Turn 3.
Okay, so the Enforcers, they have the initiative this turn, so they get to activate first and then spend a command point and go a second time. So these guys, these operatives are going to move up, shoot the Steel Warriors, and then scoot back onto their objective. So we just put the leader there to show where they've moved up to, and they take out 2 of the Steel Warriors. So 2 out of the 6 gone. So the Steel Warriors are still there. There's only 4 of them, and they're pinned down. And then, so they switch over to the other flank as well, spend another command point, and these Breach and Eradicate guys are going to charge across the pipes there. They've got anti-grav, so they won't be bothered by the hindered terrain. The Baroccas decide to blaze away as a assault reaction. They actually take one out and pin them down, so that'll make it a little bit, maybe they might survive the combat. I don't think so. So they take one out, pin them down, and then the Enforcers chop up a few of the Barocca, and then the Barocca are going to take off. So that heavy AP on their anti-tank grenades, or whatever they use in combat, makes them pretty deadly. and the Brock are only armor 5, so they didn't hang around long, so they took out 3 of them. So there's only 3 of them left. Now they're going to be broken as well, so they're going to retreat directly away from them, and it looks like the enforcers are going to take that objective. So there's a lot of dead bodies around that objective. They do 1 in return, but they've lost 3 to 1. So there go the Brocker. They're just going to retreat away up in that direction. So then the Forge Fathers, I'm going to give the Forge Lord another chance to take the building. This time they're going to I'm going to boost them up with I think it's Tis But a Scratch, the order gives them Frenzy 2 and Vicious Assault. Boost them up as much as I can, but they've still only got AP 1, so it's not great, but they did do 2 wounds, and so eventually they have taken that building. So it's taken him a couple of turns, but the Forge Lord and his offsider have taken the building. So the Forge Fathers decide to spend a command point, activate again, and those Steel Warriors down there, they fail their headstrong roll. They need a 5+, they roll a 4, so they can't remove their pin, so they're just going to move up and hopefully survive on that objective. Okay, so getting towards the end of the turn now, and the Enforcer Captain charges into the Brocker that are running away, and he takes out 2 of them. The one remaining doesn't do any wounds back, I don't think, and so he runs away again. So there's a lone Brocker hiding up around that tank there. Then the Enforcers move up, use their rapid advance order just to scooch a few guys around. So they're sitting on that objective there to try and claim it. But I did line up my Jotun weapons platform pointing at that objective, so the weapons platform shoots those guys off the objective, and the other guys are broken there. So there was 2 guys standing on the objective, and the leader is behind the barricade. The sniper moves up into the building and tries to shoot my Steel Warriors on that objective there, but he misses. So those Steel Warriors are going to hold that objective, which is going to be vital in the scoring of the game. But as you can see, there's lots of broken troops around the place. So we get into the end phase and got to do some break tests. The lone Brocker leader up the top there, he survives, rolls an 8. The Enforcer operative guy there, I think he passes. Everybody passes their nerve tests to stay onto the table. So we've got a lot of broken units, lone soldiers around the table. And then in the scoring, well, the Steel Warriors are holding that objectives, and I've got a couple of characters holding the own objectives. So the Forge Fathers will score 4, and the Enforcers 2.
4.
Turn 4.
Okay, so turn 4, the command roll. We've got plenty of command points, but not many units left to do anything with it. So it's a war of attrition. So the first up, the Enforcers are going to activate those operatives. They're just going to stay where they are, use their Firestorm command ability for the extra AP and the weight of fire, and shoot at my poor little Steel Warriors, minding their own business on that objective. And when the dust settles, there'll be 2 Steel Warriors left, and now they're pinned and broken, but they're still on that objective. While there's 2 of them, they can hold it. Then they're going to activate again. The Peacekeeper Captain's going to put up his Resilient 2 aura, and surprise, surprise, he goes in to charge the Forge Lord in the building. I don't blame him. The Forge Lord looks like an easy target, and he is. He does 1 wound to the Forge Lord and his mate. They have to evacuate the building, but the Peacekeeper Captain decides to stay behind the building, out of line of sight of all the shooting. Little unit of Steel Warriors holding that objective, they must be removed. So the Enforcers have fired their sniper at them and missed, and now a lone Enforcer operative, one of the close combat guys I think, has come in, and he's going to take out one of the Steel Warriors, and then the leader of the Steel Warriors in turn takes him out. So we work out that the little Steel Warrior, he's wiped out all the enemies, so he does get to remove his pin marker. but a unit of one, when there's one guy left, they have no unit strength, so he can't control the objective. So the enforcers have stopped the Forge Fathers from claiming that objective by whittling those Steel Warriors down to one lone guy. So it's very close, and both sides are suffering heavy losses in this battle. So the weapons platform moved over and had a shot at the Peacekeeper captain behind the building, maybe done a wound or two. And in the end phase, that lone Steel Warrior, he rolls an 8 for his nerve test, so he's hanging around. So a brave little chap, and the Peacekeepers survived some of their nerve tests as well.
Okay, turn 5, let's go.
You done?
So turn 5, I think we both should have gone up by 2 points in the scoring there, but anyway, it's still 10-8. The Forge Fathers have got a narrow lead. So their first activation, they take out the lone Steel Warrior on that objective. So that sniper in the building will be free to move over. The Peacekeeper captain goes for a charge around the corner into the Forge Lord. So I don't blame him. The Forge Lord seems like a bit of a weakling. And after the dust has settled, they both do a wound each to each other. Well, the Forge Lord loses his other bodyguard. And it's a draw. So they bounce back 3 inches. Leaves the Peacekeeper captain pinned and out on his own there. But I still have the weapons platform, which is hiding in the woods. There's my Huskarl holding that objective for me. And then the sniper has moved over and taken that objective. So we need to get rid of that sniper to win the game. So the weapons platform has moved over into the woods. It's lined him up, so it's lots of minuses. And after all that, we work out it needs 8s to hit. So I use a command ability. It costs me 2 command points because it's on a vehicle to get weight of fire 2 and marksman. Needing 8s, and we get 1 hit goes through, and it's enough to take out the final sniper. So that stops them from claiming that objective. Okay, well, that wraps it up, and the enforcers score 3 points this round for those objectives, 1 in the middle and 1 in their home area. And the Forge Fathers score 2 points for those. So the Forge Fathers will go up to 14, the Enforcers 13. So it's a narrow victory, not much left on either side.
Don't go away, don't touch that dial. Stay tuned for the Creaky Gamers post-battle analysis.
And probably he can't
It's
hold
only
it
1
to
left.
one.
Yeah.
Because if he could, he could have come over there, right? But
Yeah.
he can't.
Well, that's a good rule. One guy surviving on an objective. 2, probably. Well, it was very close, and we both got nothing left. We've still got 1 squad up there that's still intact.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you didn't move them up.
I was going to, but then when you had your hammer troops here, your hammer troops.
Like the last couple of turns, you could have moved up and been double scoring in there because I didn't have anything left. You could have even assaulted those Steel Warriors that were on the edge there.
Yeah, probably should have.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
hindsight.
Yeah.
I was worried because you still had this gun over here.
Yeah, the guy, if they moved up there, the gun might have shot at them, but the gun was busy trying to get rid of those guys.
I thought better the one than none.
Yeah.
Because I think I would have had to double move to get this. I would have had to assault you, which I'm not good at.
But you could have moved up, shot,
And
to get done your go thing.
Yeah, the idea was to shoot you off and then have the sniper just stand on it.
Mm.
In fact, what I should have done is moved him up first, but then you would have shot him, right?
Yeah.
So whoever
I was waiting for someone to move up.
Yeah. And he almost survived. Yeah, you got 1-8. That's all you needed.
Yeah, that was lucky.
But there was
Yeah.
nothing else I could do, unfortunately.
Right. Round 2.
That was bloody.
Okay, so thanks for watching, viewers. From the Forge Fathers' point of view, it was a good battle, very bloody on both sides, and hardly anything left at the end. And I think if we both played better, we could have done better. We threw a lot of units away unnecessarily, perhaps. I didn't do so well with my Brander urban assault vehicle. I wasn't really impressed with the Forge Lord and the Forge Guard. They just don't seem to have enough oomph for their points, so even though they do bring a green command dice. But I threw the urban assault vehicle away, which is a bit of a bummer. I should have probably hung back and shot or screened it a bit from the Enforcer's anti-tank weapon equipped close combat troops. The Brocker were pretty good. I think we're seeing that the decisiveness of close combat fighting is very important. It's good to have some shooting and pinning and so on, but when you got to get on those objectives, it's good to have some good, strong, close combat troops to get stuck in and activate the enemy, take them out, pin them down, and so on. So close combat seems to be king, but you need to get in and survive all the shooting first. But if you made it this far, congratulations. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Well, that was different.
Yep, lousy, but different.